Hey gang, Ross Brand here for LivestreamUniverse.com. Welcome to a special early edition of Livestream Stars. We have a special guest, Alex Kahn, joining us all the way from Germany, and we're very excited to talk with Alex. Livestream Stars is the show where we feature talented broadcasters delivering high-quality content across Livestream platforms, and Livestream Stars is brought to you by Livestream Universe, LivestreamUniverse.com, and we have a new resources page. If you're looking for live streaming gear or product services, check it out, LivestreamUniverse.com/resources. And don't forget, we have a brand new feature here that I'm going to test out for the first time real quick. It's a feature that allows you to display photos on BeLive TV from within your Facebook photo album. And so right now I believe you can see that I have a promo graphic up for the red carpet show that I'll be hosting live from Mario Armstrong's Never Settle show at 5:30 p.m. Eastern. That takes place on the Never Settle Show Facebook page, facebook.com/Never Settle Show. Interviews with cast and crew and guests and attendees and sponsors from about 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. Eastern. That'll be, again, on the Never Settle Show Facebook page, live on Wednesday. And then at 7 p.m. Eastern, you want to head on over to the Entrepreneur Facebook page where Mario Armstrong hosts the Never Settle Show presented by FedEx Office. And now let's meet our guest for today's show. Thrilled to bring on Alex Kahn, somebody that I met for the first time at Summit Live. And I have to admit, I was a little intimidated when I first met Alex. And he had such a big following and was such a big star. And he couldn't have been a nicer, more down-to-earth, genuine person. And I'm so happy to have a chance to have Alex on today. Let me just give a quick introduction. I know a lot of you know Alex. He's Germany's most followed social media coach. Alex is an entrepreneur, speaker, educator, and innovator who teaches brands around the world how to gain social media reach and turn it into profit. Alex started a case study of personal branding on social media on the day that Periscope launched, and within 1 year, he had 400,000 social media followers. Huffington Post named him a top 10 live video influencer. He's been a keynote speaker at Summit Live and Social Media Marketing World. He's been featured in Forbes and Social Media Examiner and worked with a whole bunch of different brands. A few of those that you probably know for our U.S. audience: Red Bull, SAP, and of course, you can find out everything about Alex by going to alexkahn.tv, AlexKhan.tv. And also, Alex has a masterclass, which he's accepting applications for. If you're interested in taking part in that, it's socialmediacoach.me, and we'll share that again in the chat and throughout. But Alex, after that, please jump right in. Welcome. It's so great to catch up with you again, and I know you have a lot going on, and we appreciate you taking some time after work to join us here on Livestream Stars.
Well, first of all, Ross, thanks for having me and that great introduction. I'm happy to be here, and I'm happy to see some familiar faces in here. Thanks for watching.
Yeah. So let's start right off. I mean, because this is kind of the heart of what you do in helping people grow their social media and live video presence with the case study that you did. Were you not active at all on social media before? Or did you start new accounts? How did you start to measure your growth from when Periscope started until a year later when you had such a huge following and made such a name for yourself in the live video area?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I started with social media back in 2005. I became the managing director of a social network called AttractivePeople, and I built that over 2 years, and I could discover firsthand how people behave within social networks, which was highly interesting to me. And then a couple of years later, a big social network came to Germany and put me out of business. And its name, you probably know it as you're watching it, us right now, it's called Facebook. So Facebook just came to Germany and took over. And I thought, okay, so you have to switch side. If you cannot beat it, how you say, connect with it, try to join it somehow. And that's how I started for the very first time to work with brands and build their fan pages. We're talking about back in 2008, 2009, 2010. And that's how I really started to use social media. But I always thought to myself, and I asked myself, so what can one person do when he gets social media right? And I was always waiting for that moment when I can prove it to myself that one person could really make a difference. And then when Periscope came out, back in 2015, so 2 years ago, I started on day one. I had some topics I talked about. I started with fun, then I started to talk about relationships. And then I said, okay, come on, what are you really passionate about? Where do you have your expertise? And that's social media. I was in the social media business for 10 years already. And that's when I started to talk about social media and how you can use live video to build your audience. And everyone who started with Periscope was, of course, interested in knowing how live video works and how you can build your following, how you can monetize it. So I stick with that topic. And yeah, that's what I still do. Wow.
So let me get myself back on screen here, getting used to some of the new features. We will get back to the side by side here. So, yeah. So, I mean, you were basically taking a very new a new platform, and although you were familiar with social media, there was really never anything like Periscope before, right? I mean, there was never anything that made it so easy from your cell phone to just jump on and tell your story. Everything that the average user was doing was pictures and text and blog posts and, polls and things like that. And how did you quickly kind of adapt to Periscope? What was the key for you in growing your following on Periscope?
Yeah, so first of all, I mean, what we do right now is live streaming, but what it's called, it's live communication. Right. It's old, right? We're deriving from that. We are talking live to each other. So I was triggered by that. The first moment I saw it, I felt like, wow, that's like TV 2.0. It's amazing. From the palm of your hand, you can talk to everyone who's using that app and you can engage with that person. And what many people forget when they think about me and want to reverse engineer what I did is that I had already 10 years of experience in social media. I know how people behave in social networks. And the only question I ask myself is, how can I use the tactics, the mindset, the tools, and connect with them in a live video space? So what I was teaching for more than, 10 years, I simply adapted and said like, okay, now you can actually do it live. You don't have that time shift. You don't have that disconnect with your audience. You can directly talk to them. And I was going all in. To be honest, I mean, I was really using it every day. I did at least one broadcast for the first year, every single day on Periscope, went on, was watching other people, what were they doing, was thinking like, how can I get the most out of it? I was also lucky that I was there on day one. I was featured by Periscope from day one. So I was in the top list of them. That helped me a lot to grow. And then I cross-promoted it.
Right. And so by cross-promoting it, you were using all your other social media channels to amplify what you were doing on Periscope. What did you find were the most effective ways to market your live streams?
To market it or to grow it?
To grow your audience. When I say market it, by letting people know, promote maybe is a better term, to let people know what you're doing and get them excited and maybe sharing it and to grow your following and really grow the audience for the live streams, because you can have a big following and have limited viewers and engagement. You clearly have not only a big following, but you have people who can't wait for your next stream and are eager to interact with you and see what you're doing. So I think there's many different ways to talk about it, but how did you go about building that?
Yeah. So first of all, I believe it all starts with the right mindset, and to understand that those are not followers, those are not like numbers, those are real people who are watching you. So you should think and ask yourself which value you can add to those people. See your topic. What are you inspired by? You can start coming up talking about your personal story. You can show them behind the scenes. You can do Q&A. So it should be like one topic you're really passionate about and you think you can add value. You can add value by three things. You can either way educate someone, you can inspire someone, or simply entertain them. But when it comes down to live streaming, it's very important that you are engaging, that you take a look at the comments, that you for example, say hello to the people, say their names, activate them, tell them when they can ask questions, that you kind of appreciate them. There are so many things you can do to appreciate them. And of course, it's a certain skill set too. You have to make that decision that you want to be yourself and you want to be authentic and you want to be genuine, because people can see that. People can look in your eyes and see if you really have something to say and you really make it honest. If you just want to make like a fast money out of it, probably live streaming is not the right tool for you.
Right.
But if you really mean it serious, and if you really think there is something you want to tell them and engage with them, live video is a great tool. So there are a couple of things you can do, from pre-promoting your stream, use your existing channels, tell people about it, like you did with this stream right now and with all your other ones. It's very important that you let people know when you're going to start so that they can prepare themselves. Very important. I can give you a couple of things, like the first minute is very important. So that you start welcoming the replay viewers, because those are the only ones who watch you from the first second.
Right.
That you introduce yourself, introduce your topic, maybe introduce your story. Tell them what they're going to get within this stream. Then make sure to tell people also and ask them for a share, ask them for a follow. During the stream, repeat those steps. People tune in at different steps. So for example, now we can say, well, I'm interviewed by you and we talk about live streaming, because people might join right now and they think like, what's this stream about? Maybe they don't read the description. Very important after the stream to also promote it. When you end the stream, what I love to do, I just give you a little medley of a couple of things. Maybe one of them will give you a little spark and you think, oh, I should try this one, right? So at the end of the stream, don't just say thank you. Tell people when is your next show. Prepare them for the next show. Tell them, well, tomorrow we talk about how you get twice the results, triple as fast. Or tomorrow we talk about how you get more followers on Instagram. So make sure at 8 o'clock EST, we will tune in and make sure to follow me. So there are a couple of things, a couple of formulas I worked with, and that worked out very well for me. But the most important, to sum it up, is to really give people the feeling that you care. Because the more you care about others, the more they start caring about you.
Well, let's try and put some of those tips from Alex to work right now. We are talking with Alex Kahn, Germany's most followed social media coach, joining us from Germany on an early special edition of Livestream Stars. And we want to say hello to Mitch Jackson joining us, Babylon Brook, Liz Liu, Eduardo Guerra, who I had the great pleasure of meeting at the Never Settles show last week, Sabrina Cadini, of course. Who else is with us? Colleen Hammond, Patrick, Paul Kirkpatrick. Everybody, thank you so much for joining. Please do share this out. Let people know that we have Alex on, and he's sharing so much great wisdom. Mary Hicks, welcome. Kevin Black, Barb, welcome. Brad Friedman, welcome. So great to see everybody. And thanks for joining us. We'll get to my next broadcast later as we get closer. Let's focus on this one. So, yeah, I mean, you really went through the structure of a broadcast, and obviously each one's a little bit different, right? Whether you're doing a talk show, you're doing a solo, and everything else. But to understand that the audience isn't going to be there from the first second to the last second. So don't take for granted that they know who your guest is, what you're talking about, what you're going to talk about. Later, we're going to talk about some of Alex's speaking gigs and what advice he might have for that. We'll also get into what programs he has for those interested in working more closely with Alex. So that way the audience, right, knows that something's coming up, even if I got this part down about the tips for promoting my broadcast and for engaging. They know that there's something coming up more beyond this, or for people just joining, they know what to look forward to when they're deciding whether or not to stay on. And I don't know how much you do Facebook Live compared to other platforms, Alex, but one of the challenges of Facebook Live is that there are so many distractions, right? When you're on a Periscope, or back in the day if you were on Blab or whatever, basically you've already made the choice that what you're there to do is watch video, and you're more likely to stay longer, right? You get on Facebook and it's Messenger and it's notifications and, oh, look, here's a deal. Oh, somebody else just went live. And it can be almost a little frustrating, right? When you look at view time and you realize you had a ton of views, but when you break it down, only a small percent stayed 10 seconds or more and so forth. Have you come up with a way that works for you as far as trying to retain viewers for a longer period of time on a Facebook Live, which I just think is much more challenging than on other video platforms?
Sure. So here are two ways I love to do in my streams. The first one is more about getting people into the stream. And by doing so, I call it a code word strategy. So that's a tactic. That's a strategy that simply works. So what you can do is, in the first 10 seconds of a stream, you place a little code word. Can be Friday, can be Livestream stars, can be Ross Brand, can be Alex Khan, whatever you believe is a good code word that fits in your niche. And after 2 minutes, when people tuned in, you tell them about it. You tell them, well, listen, in the first 10 seconds, I placed a little code word. But you don't tell them what this code word is. You tell them, well, listen, you have to watch the stream. And at the end of the stream, I tell you what you should do with that code word. And you have to watch the replay, just the first 10 seconds, to know what this code word is. And then at the end of the stream, you tell them, well, listen, the first one who tweets me my code word or leaves me a comment on this stream or leaves me a comment on an Instagram profile will win something, will get something nice, can interview me, get a free access to a class, some nice giveaway so that people know it makes sense. And that's, of course, a tactic. So
Right.
People stay, and people have to stay till the end, because if it's the first one that wins, the first one that watches the replay and is quick enough can do it. So that's one thing. I won't overdo it, but that's a strategy, how you can make people watch you longer.
Right.
Of course, the number one thing that keeps people in is great content. Right? If you have great content, then people might stay longer. If you don't have great content, then they will just flip out. But another thing, number two, what I love to do is to get more people in and that's actually my number one tip for Facebook Live. And it works in the first 2 minutes when the people tune in. Ask them an easy to answer question. Something like, where are you viewing from? Leave me a little comment. Tell me from number 1 to number 5, how good do you feel? Or just give me a like if you are here right now and you're ready for what I have for you today. By doing so, people are engaging with you, and Facebook thinks, wow, this stream is really engaging. They are really entering comments. They are liking that stream. You can also ask a question. If you think that this is a great show, click on like. If you think, I want to get to the next guest, at the next point, click on heart or click on wow. So that Facebook, anything that drives engagement in your stream will help you, that Facebook thinks, wow, I have to show this to more people because it's so engaging. So that's one thing I ask everyone to do in the first 2 minutes, because it really helps you to blow up your stream.
So if you have any questions for Alex, please do enter them into the chat, and we'll be happy to ask Alex going forward. And I want to bring up a question from Mitch Jackson, who I know Alex knows. I believe likability is a huge component to successful live streaming and remaining on top of mind. Mitch says, if you agree, any tips for helping us become more likable? And as somebody said in the chat, I think Mitch doesn't really need any tips on that. He's kind of got that down, but go ahead, Alex.
So, of course, people say, like, very important, if you want to make a sale someday, you need KLT. So the people need to know, like, and trust you. If you have those three factors down, you can make that sale. So tips about like being more likable is being authentic. If you think back, people love people where they can trust and where they see they really tell it from the bottom of their heart. They really love what they're doing. You can feel that. So you can imagine in the beginning, it's hard for you because you might be shy. You don't know who are those people. What can you tell them? Will they like you or not? So easy things is to get friends of you in. You automatically will be more relaxed if friends of you join your stream. Some people love to put a picture of their best friend or their mom or their kids besides the stream because it feels more comfortable. You feel that audience is like family-like, and you think like you could imagine you talk to a good friend, because that's what the people actually are. They will become friends if you do it right. So just think about you're talking to your best friend would be one thing which makes you more likable. Don't think about how you can get the most out of them. Think about how you can give them the most. People will automatically like you if you add value to their life. So the more value you have to give, the more likable you will get.
So we're talking with Alex Kahn, Germany's most followed social media coach, and we've been talking a lot about live streaming. And if you have questions for Alex about live streaming, please do throw them in the chat. We're also going to talk more generally about social media going forward. I see a question here from Colleen Hammond. Where do you see live streaming going in 2017?
Great question, Colleen, and hello to the UK. It's a good question. I believe live streaming will rise. And the reason is, I talked about this before, we're deriving from live communication. We are used by it. It's very engaging, and by very engaging means that Facebook will show it to more people. I believe, I don't have it here close by. Oh yeah, I have it. Such little devices will change our world in the next 5 to 10 years. And live video is a great way and a first step, especially if you think about live video in 360, is a great way to be in the moment with someone anywhere in the world. Can be a concert, can be a tour, can be a whatever you think of. And I believe that it goes more in this live direction because we like to become more authentic. We get rid of all this, made up BS people are telling you and doing. And that's why I believe like there's a huge need for authenticity. And live video is the most authentic way, when you think in social media terms, to show and to tell what's happening right now in your world. So I believe it will be a huge success, and we can see it. I mean, just think about the numbers. Facebook started around a year ago with live video. Now Facebook brought out a statistic that 1 out of 5 videos on Facebook is already a live video stream. Wow. And live video is watched 3 times more than social video. So the statistics and the metrics, and if you see that all the big platforms besides Snapchat are introduced or have introduced live video already, all this shows that live video is going to be big.
So I want to say a quick hello to Jen Nelson from Wine Antics just joining us, Marie Clements, Nazim Beltran from Italy, Leslie Nance, Coach Jenny. Thank you so much to everyone joining us. I was wondering, how do you guys feel about the 4 p.m. Eastern time slot versus the 7 p.m. Eastern time slot for Livestream Stars? I'm kind of liking this afternoon time. Would love to know what people think. If you have a preference on Livestream Stars going forward being at 4 p.m. versus 7 p.m. Eastern, do throw it in the chat. I'll count them up later and get a sense of what people like, where they want to head. Mitch Jackson has, thank you, Natalie, appreciate that. Jenny also likes this time better. Mitch Jackson says it's May 2017. Let's pretend you're not on any social platforms, but you want to start today. Which platform would you start on and why? And thanks, Mitch, for another awesome question. Appreciate it.
Great question, Mitch. I would start with Facebook, and let me tell you why. It's probably very obvious. Facebook is just, they have one metric. They have one great asset no other company has, and this is context. Mm-hmm. Facebook knows who you are, what you want, where you're coming from, up to how much do you earn, who's in your network. They know so much about you. So when you think about your business and you think about being most relevant as possible, Facebook is your go-to guy. You know, and I'm not talking about Facebook as Facebook itself. I'm talking about the Facebook environment. Mm-hmm. So when you're more in the picture way, if you have a younger audience, probably it's Instagram. If you have an older audience, probably it's Facebook. But the Facebook environment is probably the best tool to go to. If you are as popular or famous to be verified on Instagram, some clients of mine are, it's just amazing. In my eyes, the best return on investment, besides live streaming on Facebook, is definitely Instagram stories when you're verified and you can link out. It's amazing how the stickiness is and how many clicks you can get outside of Instagram. So by far the Facebook environment.
Right. When you look at other platforms, right? I'm thinking specifically Twitter, right? And I'm seeing for a lot of like just general sharing on Twitter, sharing articles, sharing blog posts, sharing videos and things. I'm seeing not a lot of ROI on the time spent on Twitter. Where Twitter seems to have more ROI is like when you tag people who you know are interested in a live stream and they come over, when you share information about a live event going on right now and you're live tweeting about it or whatever. But in terms of the time spent scheduling posts or doing live posts about just, you know, sharing content, I'm not seeing so much value spent in that. Do you still feel that Twitter should be a major part of your overall strategy, or it should be more niche, like live tweeting, letting people reminders to people about an upcoming show or event, things like that, maybe participating in a Twitter chat where you're learning and engaging? Where do you see Twitter on the spectrum right now in terms of where it fits into your overall strategy?
Awesome question. Yeah, I mean, Twitter has that problem that they are not as relevant. They are more noisy and they don't have as much information than Facebook has about you. That's their main problem, so it's harder for them to come up with a working algorithm. I believe Twitter is the number one conversations. So I can enter any hashtag I want to, and I see people, or any word, any keyword I want to look for, and I see people who talk about that. Everyone who has never tried this, write that down. Twitter Advanced Search, go Google it. It's so great because you limit it to your surroundings. So it can be your city or your country, can be a language, and you can directly jump in real-time conversations about a product, about a service, to add value to those people, to drive attention back to your profile. I believe many people are just seeing Twitter as a pushing channel, but it's a very effective channel. I have lots of clients in the United States who make a ton of money by just using this class, by looking for the code word social media and seeing people who are right now asking, oh, anyone has great tools about social. Those kind of things, I could add value, I could directly jump in the conversation, I could drive back traffic, even make money with it. So Twitter is a great tool when it comes down to starting conversations with people.
Ed Friedman, he says, to build an audience on Periscope, how expect to be?
Great question, Brad. Depends on your schedule. It's not about how often you go live. It's more about how consistent you're going to go live. Means if you have a topic and you have, for example, 10 shows planned, I would rather go one show instead of going live twice a day. Content and how much time you can invest, but it network you want to build. Patience is always key, but I can promise you that live video is a gateway because you directly engage with those people. And it's not only about creating content, Instagram, or if you send a message on Facebook, or if you ask a question here to Ross and myself, we are probably the ones who are answering. That far that we have some robot who's doing that. So it's really us. So if you want to reach out to people, live video is also a great way to get
conversation, by the way, going on in the chat right now. I don't know whether being made for trips around the country, around the world, get-togethers. This is awesome. Nance says, Facebook is so hard to be discovered on. What are your tips?
One tip for your Facebook fan page, and this is engage. Comment, like that comment, and reply. Say take a look at your stats. See when is the best on investment of that ad. You also discovered as a private profile. What I love to do, I'm not doing this lately a lot, but that worked for me very great at the beginning. So almost every day, one of them a comment. That what most people do, just posting something, happy birthday, and you might get a like back. Take the time. Those people will reply back. They, hey, thank you, Alex, for doing that. Thank you. The chance is very high that Facebook is showing
comment in the comments to a post, show up more likely in their feed.
And that's when Facebook starts showing your post to that person.
We're talking with here that Paul Kirkpatrick just said Alex's comments in the chat about how amazing and take new people.
special and I want to make it as hard as possible for people to join. No, for me, it's really, I want to get group where every week I give homeworks to apply, because it's very bit about myself. So make sure to also tell that you joined because of the live video you saw, so that the application should also make sure that I find their own voice. Some people, it's so much is happening, it's just getting more and more complex. Some people want to make friends and find people to collaborate with because they share the same problem. Market to go to, who's the right audience, video space.
Yeah, like something that live streamers do that you would say that isn't helping.
Well, one common mistake is not starting, but that doesn't count, you know. For people, it's maybe even 90-10 rule, but be 99% is free. And I go 1 week and I'm only asking in that 1 week. But I do this maybe 4 times to have a landing page, to build a landing page, by giving them another thing for free. It can be a down for you. My process is always in 3 steps. There you might get for the ask. You ask the main reason. That's the main concept. So add value. You ask, go all in, and be 100%. Yeah, great question. Traction. So you're 100% right. They have not focusing on Instagram and Facebook. Maybe this is your turn to focus on Snapchat. Ask a question on Snapchat. The highest percentage when I ask a question. So the stickiness, I believe that depending on which market you're in, it might be it's nothing in my eyes which will come over the next
platform. If you want in the chat, we have a few more minutes to go with Alex. Welcome, Dr. Finch. Welcome, Mia Voss. Platform for entertainment, for talk shows. So we're talking with Alex Kahn, Germany's most followed social media, keynote speaking and speaking at events. Perhaps there are 100 other people speaking.
So my people are interested in the story, in content and cross-promote. But for everyone, I mean, I believe everyone conferences are interesting. Take a look at the speakers, and probably record yourself. Beginning, ask your friends to join, so it looks like as you on stage, and you don't bring it. Right. So record a video for yourself. Fits. Don't ask for money at the beginning. What I love, a bigger one, and you can get some feedback after the should tweet to you something, tweet you feedback. It was twice, as you know, in the United States over the. It's really exhausting. I mean,
Europe's a little bit behind the U.S. in terms of
one step. When we get back, Europe as a continent, we don't have one
coach.me, social media coach time slot. But please throw a comment in the chat. From the Never Settle Show, red carpet. /Never Settle Show, 5:30 p.m. In celebration of Mario's Never Settle Show, I will be a guest at 1:30 p.m.